Hi, my name's Starsky and welcome to From the Studio on Clubbing TV. In this episode, I'm going to be looking at a really cool, lovely little new synth from Modal. It's the Cobalt5S. As ever, all the sounds on that intro track were created on the Cobalt, except for the drum sounds. Before I go into exactly what it is, let's just take a look at the actual hardware, because it's a really sort of nice, chunky, sort of high quality feeling bit of kit. We've got a 3-octave mini keys key bed, and it's very, very similar actually to the Keystep 37. I've got one of those over here. If I just put them next to each other, you can see there they're almost the same size. And actually, one thing about the Cobalt is that although it doesn't have the CV ins and outs that you get on the Arturia, we've got a modulation out, a gate out, and a pitch out, which you can use obviously to control semi-modulars or your modular kit. Apart from that, the Cobalt's pretty much got everything that I use the Keystep for actually, so it could be used as a replacement or as an alternative for a keyboard controller for your soft synths. We've got these 16 knobs across the top, and these have all got fixed MIDI CC numbers, and that's because you get this app with it. Here I'm running it in standalone on my Mac. You can see it's resizable. It also works on PC, it works on iPads, iPhones, Android devices, it works all over the place, and you can access all the parameters on the app. But it's quite handy for looking at things like the settings. But you don't need the app at all. Absolutely everything you can see on the app you can access via the synth itself, even though it's only got these 16 knobs. 16 knobs have dual functions or triple functions. We see down here we've got a shift key. So twisting that, I'm twisting the cutoff. But if I press shift, I'm now on the A, which is the A or the attack phase of the filter envelope. So holding shift, you can see I'm changing the envelope settings there. Hopefully you can see it. I'm not sure what the camera's actually picking up. And we've got quick access to things like save and load and initialize patches. You can see these things with a blue background there. We've got modulation sources, modulation destinations. You can see all the sources here, the sort of white background with the blue text. And again, everything's easily accessible. If you wanted to modulate something with LFO1, just hit the modulation, hit LFO1. Now we're modulating something with LFO1. If we just twist something, let's twist the cutoff. That's now modulating the cutoff. So there we've got some lovely big rich string sounds, but let's take it back to the very, very basics. Press this initial patch here. There we go, just a really simple sound. And the way you build tones on this is by these two oscillator groups. And they're called oscillator groups, not oscillators, because they act in a different way. It's a really clever take on virtual analog. Most virtual analogs, pretty much all virtual analogs, just have the standard analog wave shapes like a sine, a saw, and a square. And we've got all those in here. And they're what you get on any analog synth. But what they've done here is really clever. They've taken the output of what you get with two oscillators and you're mixing them and blending them with FM or ring mod or sync, and they're using that as a standard sort of single output from one oscillator group. I'll just show you what I mean, because that sounds quite complex, but it's not really. So if we change the algorithm, we've got 40 different algorithms, and what they do is they blend two waves in different ways. We've got ring mod here. It looks a little bit like two Batmen. And by twisting these knobs, we're changing the tuning of those oscillators, which is giving us different ring mod sounds. So within each of the 40 algorithms, you've got two things that you can play with. Let's find another. And I know I keep on going on about it, but that really is the joy or the beauty of the Cobalt. What you start off with isn't two oscillators, it's the results of two oscillator pairs, and each of those oscillator pairs has really complex tones, so you're getting all those nice harmonics and overtones that will take quite a while to program on a standard synth. So it's a very, very clever way of approaching virtual analog. So what else should we look at on it? Should we take a look at this, this pad down here? And this is an X, Y, and Z pad, and it's really good for performance. You can program your X axis, your Y axis, and you can program amount of touch. I don't know if this is picking up on the camera, but the harder you press it, the bigger the blob. So it was doing different things there as I pushed it up, and then brought it down again. So you can set up incredibly complex modulation patches for a performance. On this, you've got 5 different axes effectively: right, left, up, down, and the pressure. Plus you've still got access to the things on the knobs as well. So there's loads of fiddling you can do on this. Let's take a listen to the filters now. So that's a really nice sounding filter. It's well behaved, it's not really harsh or aggressive, you're not getting those really nasty sort of acid punches out of it, but it does have a couple of tricks up its sleeve. If we look at this knob here, that's changing the filter shape from a 4-pole low pass to a band pass, and then through to a 1-pole low pass. A 1-pole low pass is different to a 4 like this. It's a little bit more gentle, so you get more of the high frequencies through. So maybe you can see how flexible this is becoming. We've got all those really interesting starting points, all those nice harmonics and interesting tones, and then we've got a filter that we can do all sorts of things with. But that's not the only thing it can do. We've got 4 different types of filter in here. We've got a low pass that you just heard, a low pass balanced, which means you don't lose as much bass, but you don't have as much resonance in there. Then we've got a high pass mode, and we've got a balanced phase mode, whatever that is, and I'll show that quickly because it's actually really nice. We have 4 lanes of animation. If you take a look at the app again, you can see you can edit the notes in there, we can draw them, we can edit them. Let's find one with some animation. Let's look at the animation on that, nothing on that. Let's find another one. There we go, we've got animation 1. So you can use the app to go in and edit absolutely everything, but you can do it all on the synth itself. I've done a much longer review of this on my YouTube channel, so if you want to see how you do it, head over there at Starsky Carr on YouTube. But overall, what are my final thoughts on this? When I first got this out of the box, I had a huge smile on my face because it's just such a nice feeling, high quality bit of kit. But I did wonder how I was going to get on with just the 16 knobs and all the stuff you can do in this with the 2 LFOs, 3 envelopes, you've got the 2 oscillator pairs, you've got all those different algorithms, you've got the effects, you've got the sequencer, you've got the arpeggiator, and you can edit all that on this. And I just thought, how on earth has that worked with this interface? But actually, as I've said in the intro, the interface is really intuitive and it's really clever. I got in touch with Modal and had to say to them, you know, I'm really impressed by how your designers have managed to make this so easy to use, but so complex a synth. The app itself is fantastic. As I say, it works on the iPad, it works on your Mac, your PC, it works on, Android. And the app itself is absolutely brilliant, not least because it's free. On all my really expensive synths, I've got to pay for the app, which is a bit odd. On this, it works on your Mac, your PC, iOS, Android, it works on your iPhone, your iPad, it works standalone, it works in your DAW, so they've pretty much got everywhere covered. And I actually don't use the apps for editing, I use them for finding out what's happening in a preset. If I find a preset that's almost right, but there's something happening, a bit of modulation, I'm not sure what it is, you can see it straight away in the app. So all in all, it's a really great little synth and it's well worth checking out. And if you did enjoy that, don't forget you can catch it whenever you like on our Clubbing TV official YouTube channel on the From the Studio playlist. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments and I'll see what I can do to answer them. And if you are into your synths and your drum machines, do check out my Starsky Carr YouTube channel as well, where I've got a lot deeper, almost about an hour long look at this. So I'll see you in the next episode of From the Studio.